Nog een keer opnieuw. Ja.
Oh, hello, everybody. This is my first Ask Me Anything live, and I'm really curious if anybody is watching at all because, well, I don't know if you're online, I don't know what platform you're on. I'm trying to broadcast on various platforms at the same time. And, well, I'm called the No Excuses Lady, so sometimes you have to try something new. The reason why I'm doing this is that I'm getting so many questions. I organize workshops about book writing, I organize workshops about social media, I have workshops about the location independent lifestyle. But I notice that people who are writing their book also want to know about my lifestyle, and other people want to know about Italy and about tango dancing and about my lost suitcase. So I thought if I organize a non themed Ask Me Anything session, then I can answer all your questions. There's also people working on speeches, anything, ask me anything. And of course, I have some questions that people already sent me that I'll start with. But also, I want to show you this beautiful studio setup. I'm kind of proud because I usually just record from my phone or from my laptop. But my friend Daan van Bergen of Videologic said that he has a mobile studio. And I'm actually in his mobile studio right now, and he can record with various cameras on an event or in an office, anywhere. So let me show you. I'm going to get my phone.
First of all, can I ask you the question if you can ask the people if they can hear you? That is
Aha.
exciting.
Yes, an important question. If there's anybody watching right now,
Ja.
can you hear me?
Jaap van Duffelen bijvoorbeeld. Op
Jaap,
LinkedIn.
Jaap, you are watching. Hello, Jaap. Can you hear me? Please, can you comment if you can hear me? Because otherwise, I'm talking and then nothing is happening. Let me see if I can
Nancy
see
zegt
anything.
check. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Ja.
yay.
Bax, Nancy, Jaap.
Great.
LinkedIn,
There's actually people.
Sima, Jurhaven, enzovoorts. Ja.
Okay, great. So post your questions in the chat. I'm going to show you my setup here. Daan made it so that I can use my phone. That's Daan over there.
Horizontaal.
Yes, that is Daan. This is the different cameras, and we have a blue screen behind me. So what you're seeing now is just a living room with the camera set up. And that enables me and you and anybody to create like a studio like quality setup anywhere you are. And Dan, you use it for events?
Yeah.
Can you come over here?
Yeah,
And
sure thing.
I'm inviting my first guest to the studio. Dan is crawling from behind the sofa.
I'm not sure if find out if anybody can hear me. Oh, and I have to check one thing.
This is a live things going on.
I tried to do several things together. What was your question?
So what are we doing here? How do you use this setup?
Yeah, normally I don't do it in my living room. But in the Corona time, I did it because I had to do some workshops for myself. But my main work is making this kind of live studio setup for events like conferences, like webinars.
So you don't need a whole crew of camera people.
Correct. Yeah, we can show you there the techniques, but it's more like a small table with a few knobs. But it's
called a black box.
Yeah, very black. And for me, it's like you have to have as less possible equipment with you to make the most impact if you want.
There you are. Yeah. And that's exactly what I do. The most impact with limited resources.
Yeah,
and
correct.
Then, you have the 80-20 rule. I always like the 80-20 rule.
And that's it.
That you have 80% of the impact with 20% of the effort.
Yeah.
And you probably also experienced that 80% of your clients 20% of your clients gives 80% of the revenue.
Yeah, correct.
And 80% of your clients gives 20% of the trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble. And especially with techniques. We have experienced it yet. I saw come an early later, and you say, early, is that not too much? Was it too much?
always need an hour extra
Yeah.
because there's something not working. You have to
Log
figure
in,
out. Yeah,
is it coming in? Is it working, etc.?
So this is the technique,
Yeah.
and you use it for different content. I want to use it for people that they can ask me questions. Do you have a question for me
Ooh.
to start
I guess
Ask Me Anything?
I know you already very long.
You know
right?
me too well.
Yeah, too well. So, is there a question that's never been asked? Is there a question you never
Whoa.
get from your
Whoa.
attendees?
This one. People
Too
usually
easy,
have very
easy.
specific questions.
Easy.
Yeah, you missed your opportunity to ask me what question do you not want me to ask.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But
Oh.
no, usually I get the more questions I get on a certain topic, the more I know that I have to organize a workshop or
Yeah,
a live
sure.
session about it.
When something happens to you, you make a workshop of it, right? When you have a
Yeah.
car accident, there's immediately a workshop of how to find car accidents, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do.
All
So I'm
right.
very happy that we're doing this
Oh,
together.
maybe a good
Yeah.
question. What workshop do you want to make but you haven't made yet?
Aha. Well, actually, I'm thinking of organizing a workshop in my Italian village, Entrepreneur Village, Italy, to live there with maybe 20 entrepreneurs for a month.
Oh, really?
And to do masterminds and workshops, but really living in an authentic village. And I was thinking, as I'm organizing that, maybe I should involve people in that so they see how I organize my workshops and events, because other people are planning for a long time and are writing business plans, and I just have an idea and I do it. So maybe that's an interesting idea, to follow the creation of something. People usually see the result.
And is it when you organize a workshop of a small event, is it like do you have to do a lot of work, or do you have a lot of people or a lot of tools, or what is the key?
I think I do most of the thinking, and then the action points, you can ask somebody else to do them. But usually that's not good. But usually it's all in my mind.
And it's not good because they don't know how you think or how you want to organize.
No, it's not good because I'm involved too much.
Oh, really? So is that a lesson, maybe?
Yes, it's a lesson. Thank you. Now you can go back behind your camera.
We have a new workshop. We have a new workshop. Okay, have good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, let's see if there's any questions, but I'll start with the question that I got most in the last week. And that's about Italy. First of all, how are things going with the building project? But secondly, are your trees really dying? Well, the disease Xylella, it's a deadly bacteria that has already killed a lot of trees in Puglia. If you see Italy as a boot, then the heel of the boot is Puglia. And the disease started in the south, and now it's already halfway. And that's where my Tiny Trullo land is. And my trees are starting to show the first signs of the infection, like branches are dying, and the bacteria gets into the sap stream of the tree and narrows them, so the tree is slowly dried out from the inside. It's horrible. There's no cure. Nobody knows what to do. I found 3 things that I'm going to try, actually 4 things. Yesterday, a company in Vaio installed like a spray can with nutritions, minerals, vitamins that is put into the sap stream of the tree. If you go to my Tiny Trullo Instagram account, you can see the actual connection of this thing that's put on the tree with a little tube into the sap stream of the tree. Hopefully that will make the tree stronger. And then I found 2 other nutrients that I'm going to put on the soil around the trees. And I also got another tip to put just gray, crude sea salt on the ground, like to spread it over the land, because it has a lot of minerals that the land may be lacking. Because of course, what's happening, monoculture is depleting the land. And, you know, monoculture has been going on for a while. But it's horrible that trees of 3,000 years old are now dying, and we cannot help them. So please, please, please keep your fingers crossed that one of these 4 things that I'm going to try will help to save my trees. In the meantime, the building projects are continuing. So next to my old Trullo house, I've been building a tiny house. I love tiny houses. You probably know that. So it's 30 square meters, and the outside is ready, and now they're making the inside. And because it can get really humid and hot and cold, I want floor heating, air conditioning. So it's quite expensive to install all that. But I thought, if I'm going to create a tiny house, I want it to be comfortable and livable both in winter and summer. And I hope, again, fingers crossed, that it will be ready by the end of September. And then in town, in the village, I'm also restoring an old apartment from the year 1100 with 4 rooms, beautiful domed ceilings, stone walls, really, really beautiful. But of course, this also takes more time. We found out one of the floors was not solid, and now there has been a break in the ceiling, so the shop below gets covered in dust. There's always something happening. So I'm going there again tomorrow for only 3 days because it's really, really hot. It's 38 degrees. But that's what's happening in Italy. I'm also buying another apartment with another investor. So I really want to buy this whole village and organize this entrepreneur retreat there in April. So if you're interested in living in an authentic Italian village in your own tiny house, but together with other expats and nomads and entrepreneurs, to meet together for coffee, for dinner, for excursions, for masterminds, to work together, let me know. And together we will create the ideal event. Maybe it's going to be 2 weeks, maybe it's going to be a month, but I'm thinking about organizing that in April. Are there any questions about this so far?
In the WhatsApp.
Yes, questions. Let me get
Ilse, Nancy.
many questions. Okay. Um,
Ilse, we don't see the living room and cameras, but maybe for later on instead.
yeah, we already showed it, but I'm going to show it again. And hello, Ilse. Nice that you're watching. Nancy, how do you deal with the sometimes negative feedback on your lifestyle, like the discussion? Okay. Yes, that's interesting. So I get a lot of positive reactions, but there's also always a few people who always react negative, but that's more their problem. And then sometimes a topic that I address is, how do you say, is like made black and white, like the flying discussion. I do fly a lot, and I know flying is bad for the environment, but I also do things that are good for the environment, and I don't do things that are bad for the environment. I don't have kids, I don't have a car, I don't have a house, I don't have a lot of stuff, I don't eat meat or very little. So, everybody finds their own balance in what they can contribute and what is essential to them. And I'm not going to repeat that discussion, but that was pretty heavy discussion. And what Nancy is referring to, I talked to somebody who was an expert in the stock market. And the way he looked at the economy and at the opportunities and how you can deal with stocks was so interesting that I thought, I want to share that with other people. That's what usually happens. I discover something and then I want to share it. So I posted about it. And some people thought it was like a network marketing or a pyramid scheme, or I don't know what they thought. Most of them didn't even read my post very well. They just started saying, this is ridiculous and I've lost my respect for you. And then I said, but did you read my post? I just met somebody who has interesting knowledge and I want to share it. And then they said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read it. Have a nice day. So what I find is that people are looking for something to criticize. Some people are jealous, some people are unhappy, some people are angry. I can understand. And they need somebody or something to direct that to. You see it everywhere on social media, against the farmers, against Ukraine, against Russia, against vaccinations, or in favor of all these things. It's becoming so black and white, and people find only information that supports their point of view. And then when somebody dares to express something different, they want to defend themselves, or they want to be assertive, or they want to convince somebody. My job in life is just to find opportunities, to find interesting things, and to share it with you guys. And then you decide if you want to believe me, if you want to investigate further, if you don't want anything to do with it. I don't need you to come to Italy. I don't need you to go tango dancing. I don't need you to write a book. But if you do, then I probably have some tips for you that I found out personally, or I can refer you to good books, good websites, good people. And I don't do anything for commission or to make money or to, to I don't know, to benefit from it. I only do things when it's a win-win-win situation, when it's good for you, when it's good for me, when it makes me happy to help you, and maybe when a good person offering something good can do their magic. So don't be afraid that I'll ever try to sell you something or push you somewhere. I don't like network marketing. I don't like pyramid schemes. I'll never do anything like that. And it kind of hurts me that people think that I would do something like that. So when it happens, I try to stay calm. I ask questions. I never get angry online. Offline, it's also quite difficult because when anything you do online stays online. So when somebody has been harassing you for a while and you stay nice, and then one day you say, "You idiot," whatever, you react in a not so nice way, that reaction is out there to see for everybody. And nobody knows what happened before. They just see that Esther is angry and frustrated, and that's not who I am, and that's not what I want to show online. So be aware that anything you do online will be seen by many people for a long time.
Yeah, now there's a next question from Annemiek. It's also in the WhatsApp.
Okay, a question from Annemiek. Do you have professionals who are updating your social media, or do you do that all by yourself? That's also a good question. I write all my own content and I do most of the posting myself. The problem is that there are so many channels, and then the channels also have stories and posts. So I did a count lately, and I think there's 13 different channels that I try to update. So I've hired a person, I've hired an agency, and I've done some other things, and all of that didn't work because I can write something and they can post it, but then they don't know what the post is for, what the workshop is about, if it's the right time. So now I've taken everything back. I do the writing, I do the posting, I do schedule some posts in SmarterQ, which is a brilliant platform where you can schedule and plan and repeat and reuse old material. And now I have somebody who's helping me with the visuals. So when you see a nicely designed visual, that's my assistant Jelena, who makes that in Canva. And I have an assistant in South Africa, Jacques, who helps me with marketing, with the website, SEO, and he also helps with the scheduling and the posting. But anything you see online is me. And maybe it's because I'm me, it's my personal branding. Maybe it's because I'm a writer. I write all my own stuff. I create all my own stuff because it's me. And a lot of people want to outsource their social media, but I don't really believe in that. When you outsource to an agency, you get standard stuff, you get standard content, you get standard visuals, you get standard ideas. And why do people follow you? Because you are special. Your way of looking at the world, your way of dealing with things, your sense of humor, your sense of timing. So scheduling, yes. Help, yes. But you need to be in charge of your own social media. And that's what I do as well. And yes, it's a lot of work, but it's also a way to stay connected. And I try to look at it. If I'm walking down the street with Dan, for example, and I see something interesting, I would say, "Hey, Dan, do you see that? That's interesting. That's funny. It reminds me of this or this." And what I do with my friends when I walk down the street, I do online with my online friends. "Hey, I did this today. I saw this today. I'm here. What about this question?" So, in fact, it could be integrated with your normal life and your business and your personality. And that makes it a lot more fun and less work and really, really more authentic. So, I hope to have answered that question. Any more questions? Not at the moment. I'm going to answer another question that I got. Maybe you've noticed my nice green suit. It's all new because I lost my suitcase a few weeks ago. When I flew back from Italy to the Netherlands, KLM lost my suitcase and nobody knew where it went, where it was. It wasn't even registered in the system. And as you know, it's a big mess across airports all over the world. Luggage get lost. Normally, it's retrieved within a day or two. But in my case, after 2 weeks, still no news. I couldn't reach the customer service. I went to the airport. Nobody could help me. There's a lot of people there crying because they had been missing their luggage for weeks. They had missed weddings, cruises, holidays, business opportunities, whatever. Big mess. So I thought, okay, if I'm not going to get my luggage back, I'm just going to buy a whole new wardrobe, which I did and which I had to because I travel with only carry-on luggage. I have a small suitcase and literally everything I own was in that suitcase. I roll things, I use a compression bag, so I have a whole wardrobe in carry-on luggage. And when you think about a capsule wardrobe, what I have, everything fits together, the colors, the materials, the shapes. When you lose that, it's impossible to replace. So even though I bought some new things, I still missed the basics that I had and I couldn't find them anymore. Luckily, after 2 weeks, I got a call from KLM saying, hey, I got your suitcase standing next to me, so you can come and pick it up, because when we send it to Amsterdam, there will be another delay. So I was in London at the moment. So when I came back from London, I went to the designed point that they told me. There was a door, it opened, there were people there. Ah, yes, you're picking up the bag. We don't know where it is. It's somewhere in this room. So again, it was like a gym, full of suitcases. And finally, I found it. And it was like Christmas. I opened my own suitcase and I was like, oh, yes, I have this bag and this and this. And it's only material things. I know it's not important, but for me, it was really like Christmas, getting my own things that I knew I couldn't replace back as presents. Plus all the new things that I bought, which hopefully KLM is going to reimburse, but it's impossible to reach them or to send them anything because the website doesn't work. But I trust anybody from KLM watching, I trust that you will reimburse the expenses that I made. I also got some questions about location independent living, some very specific questions. So I'll try to keep it more general for everybody watching. As you may know, when you live like I do, you don't stay in one place for a long time, you travel a lot. Any contact you have with authorities is difficult because I'm not registered, because I'm not in the system. So things like insurance, for example, are quite complicated. Years ago, I found a health insurance at IKEA family in Mallorca, and I've had that insurance for many, many years. But I recently found out that they stopped my insurance in November last year. So I had been uninsured for like 4 months, 5 months. So I had to find another insurance. And during one of my digital nomad workshops, that's a workshop I organize every few months for people who want to live just like I do and who want to know if they need to register, where to register their company, also insurance and other things. There was one participant who said, I have a new solution and I'm going to share it with you. So now I'm insured through Preus Yacht Insurance. It's a German company for people who live on a sailboat. Big surprise, you don't have to be German and you don't have to live on a sailboat. So Preus, Preuss, Yacht Insurance is a very good option for people who travel around and who want to be insured. So that's one of the things. The other thing, I get a lot of questions about where to set up your company. If you live in the Netherlands and your clients are in the Netherlands and you just want to set up a company to evade taxes, don't do it, because the tax service is going to find out and they're going to fine you and you still have to pay taxes in the Netherlands. If you are a Dutch citizen, you have to pay tax on your world income. Even if you don't live in the Netherlands, even if your work is somewhere else, if you don't pay taxes anywhere else, you have to pay taxes in the Netherlands. The only way to avoid this is to register somewhere else to pay tax. So if, for example, you're moving to Portugal and they have a good tax regime, then you pay taxes in Portugal and you don't have to pay taxes in the Netherlands. But if you have a company somewhere else, then still you as a person need to pay taxes. It sounds quite complicated, but again, I've created some videos and I explain everything in my digital nomad workshop. But if your life is international and your company is international, then I would recommend looking at Estonia. E-residency is not residency for a person, but it's a way to set up a company without ever having to set foot in Estonia. And if I had to do it again, right now I'm registered in the British Virgin Islands, but if I had to do it again, I would use this Estonian opportunity. And if you're interested, send me an email or a message, and I can give you a free consult with one of the companies in Estonia that can answer all your questions. Or just sign up for my digital nomad workshop, and then I'll guide you through that step by step. It's a bit too complicated to go into that now. There are solutions, but only if your life is really international and not just to evade taxes. If you don't like paying taxes, then just make sure you make enough expenses. Go on conferences, educate yourself, hire people, buy things that you need, so your income is reduced and you pay less taxes. That's the best strategy.
Yeah, we have a question from Annemiek. I put it in your WhatsApp, but
Yes.
I don't understand the question. Maybe you do?
Yeah, who are the people you look up to?
Oh,
So,
yeah, now I know. Yeah, look up to in your inspiration.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
All right.
That's a good question. I don't have like one guru, but
I'm here.
Yes, I was going to mention you. I don't have just one guru, I have various gurus. So there are people who inspire me with certain skills and a mindset, like Dan, who always has creative ideas and who shows me little tricks. And usually they have to do with video, but sometimes also with other things. Vlogging, yeah. We organized a workshop in Mallorca together a few years ago, visual storytelling and vlogging. And Dan still does that. There are people who inspire me with their mentality. And it's a bit of a cliche, but for example, Nelson Mandela, when he left his jail after 27 years of being imprisoned for his worldview, like innocently imprisoned, he said, if I don't leave my anger and bitterness and frustration behind, then I will be still in jail, even though I'm free. And I personally find it difficult to leave injustice behind. But I'm trying to look up to Nelson Mandela to give me the strength to leave injustice and frustrations behind, because that's the only way to free yourself. So that's one of the people I look up to. Malcolm Gladwell is one of my favorite writers, and I admire him because he takes a subject, he looks at it from different perspectives, and then he starts writing about it, and you think you can follow him, like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Yes, I can understand. Okay, so that's how it is. And then he flips everything around and he gives you a completely new perspective. And he does it in a brilliant way with lots of storytelling, with lots of research, but also, yeah, I think he writes very intelligently. So Malcolm Gladwell is one of the people I admire for writing. And of course, my hero, Timothy Ferriss, the author of the 4 Hour Work Week, which was for me years ago, maybe 20 years ago, also an inspiration to try out hiring virtual assistants, living a location independent life. And he keeps reinventing himself. He became a world champion in tango dancing. He became a world champion in martial arts. I mean, anything he does turns to gold, and he shares and he keeps trying new things. I love Timothy Ferriss. And there's a lot of people who inspire me. That's my group of location independent friends, entrepreneur friends, the Dynamite Circle. It's about 1,500 members all over the world, and we meet for conferences in different places. And then we share something that we're good at. So I talk about book writing, or I talk about giving presentations. Other people talk about search engine optimization, or mindset shifts, or hiring virtual assistants. Everybody has their expertise. And I admire and love all these people. Everybody found their own lifestyle that suits them. Everybody has their own route through the world. Sometimes we meet and then they split up again because one likes to go to Asia, the other one likes to go to Europe. So yeah, there's lots of people around me, but again, I don't have one person. I have different people, and sometimes I discover a new person, and then the message of another person, I kind of have integrated that. So it's really, really nice to have this inspiration button always switched on. Some people go to a conference and then they switch the inspiration button on. Other people go on a holiday and then they switch the inspiration button on. For me, it's kind of always on. And what I'm trying to do is more hiding myself. Oh, please, no inspiration, no input. I just want to, just be for a little bit. So when I'm not doing this, then there's always inspiration everywhere. You guys also inspire me, by the way, by your questions, because when you ask a question, I become aware that that's something that is natural to me, or I never think about how I do it. And then I start explaining it, and I also learn about myself while I'm helping other people. So that's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, next
Yes.
question. I'm not sure if it's a good one. Char
Let's
makes salads. I'm not sure if it's
let's
spam.
see. What is DNA in parental child identity crisis? That's interesting. I don't understand the question
No,
very well.
I don't actually.
Shamarke, can you explain a little bit?
We'll find out if he's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Annemieke, thanking you.
Yeah, and Annelies says, what a nice way to have lunch. Well, enjoy your lunch, Annelies. I think I'm also going to have lunch soon if there's not more questions coming in. There's one more thing that I would like to address, and maybe also concerning the identity issue that was just raised. I think each of us is used to live life in a certain way. I was used to living life with my masculine energy, like getting things done. Emotions were annoying and non productive. And I have survived like that for many, many, many years. And I became quite successful. But I really felt that a sense of balance was missing, that I had to get more into my feminine energy as well, to be instead of do, to surrender instead of trying to force things. And it's been a process of years. And sometimes I succeed better than others. And of course, my natural way of dealing with things is to do and to organize and to be forceful. But I'm also trying to lean into this surrender and this feminine energy. And one way I found of doing that is to dance the tango. And I'm not saying everybody should dance the tango, but to find something that is completely the opposite of what you're used to. Maybe you should try something creative like drawing or creating videos if that's not your natural way of doing things. Because what happens, you get out of your comfort zone and you discover new things about yourself. And still, when I start to dance tango, when you see the pictures, I close my eyes, I try to be in the moment, I have to make a forceful switch from thinking to being, from doing to feeling, from leading to following. And I have to be in my body instead of in my mind. And then I can follow the lead of my partner because my body knows what to do. Before I started to think, oh, I think he's indicating that he wants to make that step. What was the step again? And then I had to tell my body what to do, and it's too slow. When you take out all the bullshit, the thinking, then you have a direct connection. And I think many of you can recognize this maybe when you're with your pets or when you're walking or cycling or dancing or swimming or doing sports or doing yoga or meditation. All I want to say is try to find those moments that you're out of your head into your body and that you can connect with yourself, with your intuition, with your softer side. Because we're all forced to be in our forceful, masculine, hard sides in this world that we're in. But inside those shells and masks, there's real people. And if we can connect more directly with each other, um, more transparent, more heart to heart, then I think a lot of the problems that we've discussed about the polarity and the aggression and the frustration, the loneliness that some people feel, I think a lot of those things would disappear if we could just connect more. So after we finish this and you go back to your life, please remember this and try to connect with somebody. Maybe the delivery guy that will ring your bell, maybe the person at the reception when you leave your office today, maybe somebody in the street. Just give them a genuine smile, ask them how they're doing, share something personal, and then maybe they will do the same thing, and there's a beautiful connection. So I wish you good luck to play with that. Any other questions you can ask me anytime. I would love to see you in one of my workshops, but also on social media. Just ask me anything and I'll try to share. And of course, I need to end by thanking Dan.
Yay!
And by saying my life motto: no excuses. Whatever you want, it is possible. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you want to have another session, what kind of theme you would like, if you like this lunch session or if you want it at another time. I'd love to connect more, so let me know. Thank you.